This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk4 Media.
G'day guys, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, Summer Helene.
And I'm Bear Fiorda. You did it before you can.
Yana was yelling at me and said I had to explain the Baroness thing, and she wants me using my title because it frightens people.
Well, then go through the whole title. She has a title, guys. She is it royalty or
peerage?
Peerage.
Aristocracy, essentially.
Peerage. Sounds like I'm not going to insult it. I'll let you go with that. But I'm letting you talk.
I know where you sleep.
Because it's 3 inches from you.
Oh, it's about to be on the floor.
I've done that before.
You did.
I did.
So I'll tell you guys that story. I have to say, today's show, we have a lot of adult content. It is 18 and over. Please be aware this is going to be raunchy. So Bear, we will go into that. We've got some milk in there. We'll have that in a minute.
All right.
So Bear, when he and I started dating, I was essayed. Luckily, I was not fully, but it was stopped by this guy that had followed me online and seen me. And God apparently told him that we were supposed to be together. Not my finest day. Shout out, by the way, Vivian Westwood. Love it. And kind of like the guy that got it for me.
Only kind of.
So essentially, he thought he was in love with me, and I was so terrified afterwards. And he'd injured my back, he broke my leg, like he broke bones. It was bad. And so Bear actually came over and was sleeping in front of my door on an air mattress to make me feel better.
Yes.
And we weren't even dating at that point. I think we just knew
we were dating. Oh my God, we've been dating for a year at that point.
We have a discrepancy on when we think we started dating.
When you're, there's so many ways I can put it to you that we were dating, but I'm going to move on from that point because I don't think any of them are going to help me. But actually, that's not the part I was talking about. But yes, that's a real thing that happened with us. The thing I was talking about when I said I was laying on the floor was because you had gone to sleep. Like I was rubbing your feet or something. You went to sleep and you went to bed sprawled out. And it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. I did not want to wake her up just to find my space in bed. So I just took a couple pillows, threw them on the floor, and went to bed right there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, that's how our relationship first started. 3 days ago, I slipped. No, was you being so sweet and considerate?
Oh, okay.
3 days ago, I slipped.
No.
Hang on, no. 3 days ago, I slipped on the humidifier. I currently, my back is healed. My back is healed.
All right.
But 3 days ago, I slipped on a humidifier, fell over my cat, got a concussion, knocked myself unconscious. So I'm now laying on the floor unconscious. I wake up and I start calling for Bear. And all I hear is, shh, go back to sleep. I'm laying on the floor bleeding. So I'd like to point out things change after many years of dating. He is the guy that slept in front of the door, didn't want to wake me, so we got pillows. Now he's telling me to shut up and lay there.
This story gets worse every time. First, it was just slipping over the cat. Now it's with the humidifier water. Next week, it's going to be doing a pirouette. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. I really am sorry it happened. It's not fair to you.
He told me to shut up and go to sleep.
Yes, my sleep brain was telling anything to shut up. Yeah. It would have told anyone to do that. It's funny, the exact same day I had to get up really early because me and my manager were heading out to LA. She did not wake up at all. She was late. And so I get up and I go over there and I'm trying to wake her up and she said, hey, this time we got to go. And she pops up, like she sits straight up.
I found the Serranos you were trying to hide.
I don't like you right now.
Anyway, keep going.
This is love, but that's not love. She gets up, she looks at her clock. I'm like, hey, we got to leave in like 20 minutes. You need to be up. And I point at the clock and I show her the time. She's like, yeah, it is that time, genius. And I'm like, we have to leave at this time. She's like, yeah, we do. And at that point, I just get, I'm done. Maybe she'll get up or not. I'm going to walk away from this. She made me feel like I should have worn a dunce hat talking to her at that point.
Yeah, I don't talk to her in the morning. She's an ass. No. She is our guest for today.
She is our guest for the day.
So we've got a lot going on. We're going to be trying. You guys have a choice. You can tell me. We can either try. We'll do this over the next 2 weeks. Things Bear did not enjoy.
things Bear did not enjoy.
Who is calling you?
Oh, Marco.
Hello, Marco.
Yes, Marco specifically is a kickboxer. I flew out from Slovenia after a competition I held.
Well, he should be watching the show. My nose is itchy. So we can try things Bear didn't like, which is I have Reaper pepper nuts, or I have chips. Or
please pick. I'm gonna tell you yours right now. This is biased because my tummy will hurt.
Honey,
pick the seaweed chips.
Nobody cares if you shit your pants. I'd like to remind everyone, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and Free MMA. We swear because we care.
Fuck yeah.
I say that, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to. Technically, I'm a baroness. I have to behave myself.
And you
now, all of that being said, we have a choice of a red chili or a choice of a green chili. Which would you like him to eat?
They're both Serranos. There's no difference. One's just more right. Don't pick the Serrano.
I'll pick if they don't.
No, you
So I'd like to remind her. And then for my part, since we're trying things from different countries, I got myself Tim Tam.
You got Tim Tam. What's a Tim Tam, Summer?
Oh, it's a chocolate cookie.
What's inside the chocolate cookie?
Chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what she's getting. I have pain. She has pleasure.
I also have tea.
This entire show, this entire segment is BDSM, pain and pleasure.
That's exactly the point. That was why you're getting pain.
Oh, is that the point?
Pleasure.
Okay.
I also got you tea though.
My milk tea, thank you.
Yes, you do drink tea like a little girl.
I drink my coffee like a princess too. It's sugary, it's sweet, it's like creamy. It's not coffee, but neither is this really. This is not tea.
No, that is tea. So
can you hand me the tea?
Well, it has to go on a saucer. You have to
do it has to be done properly. I'm an American. I grew up in the desert, okay?
He's a desert
We just drink water where we find it at this point.
Darling, I'm from Burnie, Tasmania.
Yeah, you grew up in the sticks too.
No, I grew up in the sticks. You grew up in the ghetto. There's a difference.
Fair enough. Hey, I don't mind growing up where I did. I love it. It was very hot. And we didn't need saucers for our teacups. We didn't also use teacups. All right,
we're going with this one. We have an answer. That was the answer.
That's not the answer. No one. Give them a minute. Let them check.
That's the answer. That's what people want. Take it. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to see how well he does with that. And then we're going to talk about pleasure and pain and that skank that I hope dies a really, really painful death. No, I don't. I really hope she, in seriousness, gets psychological help, Meghan Markle. But let's start with from one bitch to another. Try the chili, Bear. Take a decent sized bite. Yes.
That was decent.
Fine, that's decent. It's not too bad, see? Okay, so that's a no. We don't like that.
Give me that.
Okay, so does the Serrano, I have to ask, we put it in all of our cooking. You okay?
No, I swallowed some.
So I'd like to remind everyone, we do a lot of this for charity. Would you like to try the nuts afterwards, or do you want to hold on to these for next week? Because we can try spicy. You can suck on some spicy nuts. I'm going to throw them in the
paper shredder for next week.
No, it's that, or salty chocolate balls was the other thing that was requested. What do you say? I love our sound engineer. He's half the funny shit you guys hear on the show comes from him.
This wasn't even a funny thing. He said you're supposed to dip it in salt. I read you're supposed to use salt dip shit. So, I'm sorry.
We didn't dip it in salt. We will dip it in salt next week. I will save one for next week and we will try that.
For Christ's sake.
Thank you very much. See, he always helps. But yeah, half the funny shit you hear from us actually comes from him.
He's a great comedy writer.
Yeah, he is. So we have a lot we're going to be talking about this week, but we are going to start with the Duchess of Sussex, who apparently does not have the ability to shut the up.
Another pain in my mouth is speaking about her.
She's calling me a pain. What now?
What? No. The Serrano pepper you had me.
Oh, here, have some nuts.
No,
feel better. Did you throw the nuts?
To be fair, I dazily set it down somewhat abruptly on our side.
Why don't you tell everyone who the Duchess of Sussex is? We'll have tea and a biscuit and talk about what it's like to be an English whore.
Okay, the Duchess of Sucket is Meghan Markle.
Actually, she is, and I will say this:
she's a former Hollywood D-list actress, whatever. But she got to the point where she is with Harry, the Prince of Sussex. Whatever he was, by banging her way up the corporate ladder. That's awesome.
This is what I mean. When we first started dating, he slept in front of the door to protect me from things I was afraid of. Now he steals my cookies.
Dude, I showed up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and most mornings to bring her coffee and cookies. Like, just sweets and coffee.
You brought me breakfast and cookies.
Now I get up in the morning and I walk in holding my coffee, talking to her.
You did definitely put a lot of effort into start dating.
Mm-hmm.
You should probably put something to keep dating.
That said,
anyway,
I think I fairly put in.
I'm teasing.
Okay.
Teasing. Now, we were talking about skank diddles.
That's how fast it goes from like playing to, oh, my feels are hurt.
No, you really are a good partner. I'm teasing.
Thank you.
All of that being said,
thank you for
I am
me of that.
100% in favor of screwing your way to the top. I do not have any problem with somebody that wants to corporate climb.
No.
I have no problem with somebody that wants to socially climb. Like, you are clearly better in bed than me. You bagged a prince. I got a cage fighter that takes my cookies. Like,
well, you also didn't go after the prince. I don't think he was even available at that time.
I'm sure he was. I just wasn't in the same social circle.
Yeah.
I was too busy playing with actors.
You're only 7 people removed from, like, I don't know, the president or the
sweetie,
prince
I know multiple
Sweden.
princes. That's not.
That's what I'm saying. Is you could have probably
no.
gone with Harry. Is this your secret way of telling us you would have liked to go with Harry?
Not at all. Actually,
I want to call him Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. I would. But that being said, I talked to you. I'll give you some more tea. If he likes overbearing women, I think he should consider Alexis.
Our guest for today.
Overbearing, dominant women. He should consider Alexis.
What's her qualifications?
She's a dominatrix.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all he needs, and someone who's not going to make him make his family hate him. That's also.
It's not that. It's the lying. So essentially, she's abusive towards her people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, you can get a real bollocksing in Hollywood. You can get chewed out pretty good. I chewed Alexis out this morning, and you argue back, someone is going to, it's not going to go well for you.
No.
In Megan's case, she would call people and have tantrums because the press didn't like her.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to deal with
press... But she would also call the press to her.
That's the problem. The way to deal with press, I've had plenty of bad press reports.
Yeah.
I've been called terrible things by my friends in the press. I had a good friend write an article and call me the Wicked Witch of the West Coast. That was a friend.
I mean, that's a pretty good title, though.
Well,
right? That's
I've also been called to see. I've also been called to see you next Tuesday.
Your friend did not
find it
call
funny.
You that.
Oh, of course they do. They're Australian, but essentially, I have no problem with that. And when I've had actual criticisms come out in the press, I don't respond.
Mm-hmm.
We've had criticisms over this show. I mean, we've been on air 12 years.
Yeah, I know.
Of course, we've had criticisms. I know. We're debating whether or not we're actually going to wrap up the show.
If we do it, we got to go out with a bang. It's got to be something spectacular.
I am not sleeping with you on air.
No, we couldn't do that anyways.
We could.
Check out our OnlyFans page.
The joke, I do not have an OnlyFans for the love of God.
Real behind the scenes. No, but see, that's the stuff we should be putting out. Yeah.
So essentially, I'm not opposed to her sleeping her way to the top. She should. 100%. I think everyone should.
Yeah.
Get as high as you can socially. Get as high as you can financially. I mean, I'm a very money motivated person. I'm very good at making money. Money is my aphrodisiac. The more money he makes, the more attractive I find him.
Your aphrodisiac.
Hi, Snippy.
Good day, Snippy. Welcome to the show.
The more money he makes, the more attractive I find him. The more successful he is, the more attractive I find him.
That's fair.
And so I can't blame somebody for wanting to go, to socially climb. My problem is the way she handled it.
I think she expected from him to have more than he did. Like, she really expected him to have so much power, so much wealth.
It's not, I think, yes, but I also think she mistook the interest in her in the beginning for interest in her. It's not. It's interest in the monarchy. And then because she was the shiny new thing, everyone was interested in her for a minute. Yeah. But after the wedding, it just went back to...
Because they're not in line for anything. That was the moment that George was born, right? There was no longer an opportunity for him to be king.
Well, that cow turned around and said, we're only one plane crash away from the throne. Real class act. Oh, I'm just saying, yeah. I'm just saying, if she was one of my clients and she did that, where she did a rebuttal in a magazine to people calling her Duchess difficult, she should lean into it. Go Joan Collins. I'm terrible. I lean into it. I don't pretend to be lovely.
But you can't lean into it and actually do horrific things.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to be. You have
to
be funny.
Oh, well, you could. Trump.
Yeah, you got to lean into it. Yeah, I'm just saying politicians do it all the time, not just Trump. Like, you got to be clever.
Yeah.
And so if you lean
Joe Biden's pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You lean into those things. And if she'd lean into it, she'd be fine. But the reality is she wants people to see her the way she wants to be seen.
Yes. And she wants to be seen as like this unsung hero doing the most righteous things in the world.
The reality is you can't make people see you a certain way. You can make them see you. But if you lean into what you have, you do better.
Absolutely. I can't even think of a good segue into bringing our guest on. Speaking
of overbearing, dominant, pushy women, I'd like to welcome out to our show the dominatrix of dominatrixes, Alexis from Kink4Dummies.
Hello.
You sleep with Prince Harry.
I just look forward to
He
seeing.
wasn't in my social circle.
Yes, he is.
No, he's icky now.
Where?
We could have just gone to Canada. He was up there.
Yeah, but that's where he met her, isn't it?
I believe so.
Did he meet her at a yacht party or he meet her in Canada?
No. She was a young girl.
She was a yacht girl. Okay.
What's new?
He just wanted to see our wonderful guest on the show today. That was all. But anyways, Alexis or Kink4Dummies, welcome to the show. Would you mind telling all of our first-time listeners who you are and what you do?
I am Alexis Romero. I produce this show, but I am the founder of Kink4Dummies. It's an educational kink platform.
Porn. She does porn.
She does not do
No,
porn.
I don't do porn.
But you also should be posting. I think OnlyFans is a great platform for the content you put up, you know?
You should do an OnlyFans.
Not you can we'll get into the logistics of it later.
Make it free.
No, make it a penny. Make it free.
No, make it free.
Okay. I mean, they do allow you to make it free. Why not?
We should put behind the scenes on there for free as well.
Behind the scenes. Like I said, the real behind the scenes. But yeah, that's really cool. So why do you, all right, we've already talked about this so many times. Like, I'm going to interview mode, but we've already done that for what, 10 or 12 episodes now. I don't know how many episodes you've
How did Meghan Markle use vagina to control Prince Harry?
That's a great
That's not hard.
Oh, come on. There's gotta be some challenge to it.
No, it's really not that hard. As soon as you get somebody interested, you can use anything to an advantage, whether it be sex or sheer manipulation or money. Like anything can be used to manipulate somebody.
I understand that. I work in film, but what I mean is, so for example,
okay,
Harry obviously is very sheltered, hasn't had a lot of, booty, and essentially all he's interested in is oral sex. But how do you get so? Oh, that come out. But how do you get so good at that you bag yourself a prince?
I don't think it has to do necessarily with the sex in that case.
Really? Because that's what all they had in the beginning, apparently, was a huge sex drive. But that's what the reports on her have been nonstop, is that she is super sexual in the beginning and starts to withdraw sexual favors. That's part of narcissism.
Oh, so you think at this point they're like once a year kind of basis?
When he does what she wants.
When he does what she wants.
Oh, can I do that?
No.
Oh.
All right.
I don't think that'd work too well for you.
Thank you for the agreement there. I appreciate that.
I wasn't agreeing with you. I was telling her.
The problem is the partner that's better in bed tends to be the one that chooses the sexual behaviors or frequencies or whatever.
Yeah, and due to his lack of experience, it's probably why he fell so easily into her. She's got everything he could ever want, especially for like the first time.
But there's a difference between so you can have an agreement with somebody of, okay, well, these are the parameters for different scenes, or you can
if you're going to use language like that, you have to explain it to people.
What parameters are you talking about?
A scene can be a sexual encounter.
Yes.
Okay.
But what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
I'm saying that there can be situations where it's not manipulation, like if it's an agreed upon situation.
But we want to learn how to manipulate. How do you take sex and use it to control men? Say that you want them to behave and they're better in bed than you are. How do you do that?
You don't.
I'm just saying.
All right,
how did she pull that off?
Yes, let's try that. How did she, to the best of your understanding, be able to use sex to manipulate this prince?
And speak slowly. I'm taking notes.
I'm not sure that she necessarily did. She seemed to have manipulated the entire situation around him prior to.
What do you mean?
She manipulated her different friend groups to get them set up initially. Then she manipulated the situation. She manipulated him directly by turning around and saying that she had never heard of him And so it played on the fact that he came from a sheltered life and she gave him a complete difference of opinion.
If I turn around, if someone had turned around and been like, "Oh, I've never heard of Prince Harry," I'd be like, "Are you retarded? Like, are you slow? Why have you not heard of Prince? Like, do you have no education?"
Well, hold on. I never heard of Prince Harry till I got with you.
Are you slow?
I probably would have heard of him.
Do you have no education?
Are you slow with no education? I think the monarchy's still around.
I'm gonna stab you.
No, please don't do that. I'm very pokey and holes don't heal up very well.
I wouldn't say that on air. It's premeditated at that point.
There, now we're holding hands.
No, I'm trying to claw you somewhere. But basically,
maybe that's what she did to get him to listen too.
Claude his junk.
Claude his dangles.
Look, all I'm saying here is, if it is possible to use sex to manipulate people, I mean, you hear about it all the time, right?
Yeah.
How do we weaponize that? How do we, and that's what I want to talk about this week.
Sure. Is
sex has been highly weaponized, especially in the media. BDSM has been used to villainize.
Yeah.
But it's also something that's constantly sought out. One of the most popular categories of porn in the South is cuckolding. The most popular in the South. The guys really like to watch their partners cheat on them. It's a whole thing.
That's interesting.
There's a rise among, in trans porn. There's a rise in all of these, different kind of what would originally be fringe porn groups. But the biggest one that's kicking up is kink. That's really, really kicking up.
Would it all be considered kink? Is it just sexual preferences?
Well, a kink is a preference for something specific. Okay. But it can be something like...
Oh.
I hope that smashes.
Some technical difficulties.
So you guys know, that is a picture my mum drew of my dad that I did not want because it's his bum. Lex loves it. She loves the human form. So she took it. So every time she's on the show, I am staring at my dad's bum.
Voila.
Sorry.
Anywho.
That's unfortunate. I feel bad for you, but that's really funny.
It's an awesome picture.
I know where you sleep. Yes, my mother's a very talented artist. I know where you sleep.
You do know where I sleep. It's right.
So I know where you're not sleeping.
Yeah. So the question then becomes, when you are doing, say, a sexual act,
mm-hmm.
there is a degree of manipulation. Is there, you talk about people who say there is no sex without coercion. You have people like Armie Hammer that have had public turn on him because of his sexual predilections.
Right.
But technically he didn't do anything that he wasn't allowed to. You have people who, on the flip side, are really into kind of kink, and their predilections would get them banned and destroy their careers. Mm. The sex, I think, very easily can be used to manipulate people.
Yeah. Oh, I think we lost our guest for a second.
That's fine. She's probably going to have sex. We were just talking about
that's not hopefully what's happening right now. In the middle of a show.
If you're going to come back on air having sex, make sure you have an editorial and an explanation of how to do it properly.
You're so prim and proper when you say that.
I'm just saying. Half this show should be explaining how to find the clitoris. All I ever hear from people.
We are an entertainment show based on talking about the entertainment business. We're talking about how to use sex to manipulate.
I'm just saying we're talking about how to use sex to manipulate. It's done in ads, it's done in media, it's done every way. And all of that being said, most guys still can't even find the clitoris.
Well, it's not what we're here to do this time, I suppose.
Why? Are you being a little defensive about it?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because it's hard for me to find it.
Liar.
I know. You fed me that one. Oh, man. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to talk about when we look at different advertisements, especially even if it's unrelated to what you're doing. If it's just something sexual that we see, it can entice us to want to go and buy or use the product or see the show or what have you. So I would say probably I would be curious to know why that's the case. I would suppose, why is it in our animal brains to be like, oh, sex, I must go partake in whatever activity this is?
You just said it, animal brain.
Yeah.
I'm saying we use it in media. How do you use it in real life to manipulate people? I'm good at it in media. How do I use it in real life, Lex?
Well, you can use sexual desire in itself.
That's mine.
Well, you could do something as simple as just flirting with somebody to get your way.
But that's my point. No. If you take something someone wants and you keep it just out of reach, they will fight for it. But
or they will bite your hand off.
I was trying to illustrate a point. Or once they get it, the desire is satiated. He's now had the cookie. So he doesn't want to go after my hand any further.
Maybe not.
What are you doing?
But if you have another cookie, I will definitely want to have the cookie.
I understand. But sex is the same way. So if you look at, say, the art of seduction, the power that women had historically was sexual. But once they slept with someone, they lost that power. And in Meghan Markle's case, she did the opposite. She slept with him very quickly, went on vacation with him very quickly, and did all of that. So I think the question is, you can use withdrawal of sex or the offer of sex to get people to behave in a way that you want them to. How does kink play into that?
Well, it's playing on somebody's absolute wants and desires in general. So one way you can do it is craft a sexual experience based on things that they particularly have always wanted to do. So there's a there's a list that I actually put up on Kink4Dummies that people can go in and fill out specifically what they what it has something that has intrigued them over the years. And then
like Cleopatra with Mark Antony. Mark Antony, the way Cleopatra presented herself to Mark Antony when she first met him, as the story goes, is she came up the Nile on her boat. She perfumed the sails. She dressed herself like the Greek goddess. She based herself really on Venus, on who you guys would know as
Venus,
the goddess of love.
Oh, Aphrodite. I don't know. I'm not a Roman god guy.
Or a Roman god.
He's built like a Greek god.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, except they have little.
Yeah, by that standard, I am very intelligent.
They did. They used to think the bigger the penis,
that's where all the blood flow would go to, and so therefore you must be dumb.
So they used to do little penises on Greek statues.
Yep, is very much so the case.
So essentially, if you want to manipulate somebody into doing what you want, I know how to do it in advertising with sex. In real life, it works very much the same way. It's promising them a lifestyle or a sexual experience that they could have if they behave a certain way.
Right.
I want to know what Markle offered. Look, I'm just saying, if he wants overbearing women that'll spank him, I got one. And she won't destroy the royal family.
Well, this is a fun speculation at this point then. Why don't we, here's a question for you. If you, to the best of your knowledge about this situation with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, what would have been your approach to get this prince, who's relatively sheltered, to kind of chase you?
He wouldn't have chased.
He wouldn't have chased?
No. So he, especially when he was going to all those parties and he was in the tabloids consistently, he always was the one that was secondary for attention. His brother was the one that was always in line to ascend to the throne,
right,
after his father and his grandmother. So he's always wanted the attention. You just have to be the one that primarily gives him the attention.
So you wouldn't have made him chase. You'd have lavished praise on him and made him feel like he was king.
Exactly.
Wouldn't at some point you have to pull it out though in order to get him to like be interested in it still? Because like you said with cookie, if it's always there or if you get what you need, you're good now.
No, she's making what she's doing. I get it. You like challenge.
Yes.
That's literally your job.
Yes.
His job is always being a support. His job is supporting his brother, supporting his father, supporting his grandmother.
Yes.
So if she makes him feel like he's king, makes him, and that makes sense. That's what Meghan Markle would have done.
Yeah.
Make him feel like I see you. I see the king you really are. You would have been incredible. Like whatever other bullshit.
And then she gave him the thing that he desired most, which was his mother. She used his mother's perfume. She started dressing like his mother. So it was giving him the thing that he always desired, which is having a mommy in his life, but also giving the attention consistently.
Well,
that's
the joke
so
of it,
crazy to
that's
think
because
that she
you have
would
a
have done that
good
intentionally.
That's because you have a good relationship with your mother. If I do something that reminds you of your mother, you are so flaccid, it is unbelievable. Like, you have a good relationship with your mother, though.
So a bad relationship with your mother.
I'm just saying that's where the Oedipus complex is.
Ah.
But realistically, I get what she's saying. The problem is, though, and this is what he doesn't realize, he took her to Diana's sisters and was like, doesn't she remind you of Diana? And they're like, no. The only relationship he ever had with Diana was a mother-son relationship, which means she's treating him like a child. And that's what he's associating with being like his mother. She's taken this tabloid pictures, painted him this picture, exactly what Alexa said, painted this picture of what he's always wanted and not based it in reality, which is why he's the only one that can see it.
Yeah. But you can
hitting him hot, that's the problem.
But she's mixed. It wasn't before. I don't look at a picture of my dad's bum and go, yummy, because gross. But I can look at it and say, that's a phenomenal picture drawn by my mother, and my dad has a great physique. Like, for God's sake, stop showing it to me. We've had that conversation.
I'm sorry, it had fallen a couple of times.
But.
Exactly.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I couldn't not.
I don't know how to continue forward. Anyway.
Why don't we go back to the last thing we were talking about?
I'm trying.
Okay.
But now I'm stuck. But essentially, she played on to those things, treated him like a child, which is how his mother treated him. So he saw the parallel. Used the perfume. So he saw the parallel. He saw her, and she convinced him that she was a gift from Diana. Psychologically, she played on him. Sexually, she played on him. So she's meeting his sexual needs. She's meeting his emotional needs, and she's giving him the attention he never had. And as Shallon Lester, shout out to Shallon Lester, always says, she tagged into Shallon Lester's like blonde Alexis. She tagged into his shadow self. She tagged into that self that he hides, the one that wants to be king, the one that wants to feel smart. Remember, he never did as well in school as his brother. He never was as popular. Eventually, as he grew up, he became the more popular prince because he was fun-loving. But she's destroyed that in him, and he went from being the most popular prince to that. I really wish, if he was going to get an overbearing woman, couldn't he get an Alexis? Couldn't he get someone that would have respected the monarchy?
You know,
that's really the only thing Summer's really upset about.
Probably, yeah.
I don't care what he shoves anywhere. I just want him to behave himself. A threat to monarchy anywhere is a threat to monarchy everywhere. And that cow is a threat to monarchy.
I'll say
and this. No offense, I look at your country's politics. Of course we want the monarchy. Look what you have. Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I voted to return America to the United Kingdom. Clearly, it cannot govern itself.
Democracy is the worst form of government except for all the other ones.
We have a democracy. We just don't get stuck with people pretending to be kings.
That's fair. That's true. Donald Trump they all probably want to be king a little bit, to be honest with you. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that there was a viral video of Prince Harry doing an interview in his fatigues, and they had some type of drill going on base, or some type of announcement to where he had to shoot up and take off out of the interview to go man his helicopter. And that was a very probably if you saw that as a member of the not a member, a citizen of the Commonwealth, if you saw that as member of the public, you probably thought, oh, that's incredible. Look at this guy, he's so honorable. I'm happy to have him as my prince. She has utterly removed that all with the power of pussy.
You are right.
I was right.
Power. I've never learned to weaponize mine. Lex, how do you weaponize a lady?
Just keep telling them.
I don't think it's a combination.
I told you no, and that didn't work.
You can't tell them no and still want it.
Then don't make me want it.
No, if somebody says no, that's where it ends.
Yes.
That's where any of it ends.
Yes, agreed.
Then why didn't it end?
You know, I went to a entrepreneurship seminar last night, everybody. And one of the speakers was very adamant in telling us, there's a woman, by the way, telling us that no is never really a no. And while that is absolutely not applicable here, it's funny when he said no.
Actually, yeah, but I did say no, and I will say it is applicable. I'm not talking
What?
about SA.
Oh, okay.
I am saying
I thought this
you
was
didn't get creepy. You just said, okay, if you're uncomfortable with this, I'm going to take a step back. How about we go out and have dinner? How about we? So you definitely didn't take no for an answer,
Now,
but
granted,
you were
we
not
were-
creepy.
No, but we're also kind of like a thing or getting to a thing. If there's zero interest on one party's side, don't do that.
Something you can do is just directly ask people, what would it take for you to be interested?
I've had people do
I'll
that.
answer that.
Yeah. I've told people I'm just not sexually attracted to you, so I'd need more of a romantic connection, or I'm not psychologically attracted to you, so I'd need more of, a psychological connection.
Mhm.
It really depends.
I wonder which one Megan used to get Harry.
I think she used both. She used an emotional connection and a sexual connection.
Yeah.
I think she used emotional manipulation.
Okay.
Because she completely emotionally manipulated him. I can't speak today.
No, you can't. That's why I keep interrupting you, because you keep going like, have you had a stroke?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll continue.
No, she just emotionally manipulated him completely. Jesus Christ. Maybe I did have a stroke. I'm not sure of.
How did Sofia Vergara say, what's wrong with sounding like you have a in your mouth?
Yeah. Nothing wrong with good it.
With good it?
With good head.
All right. Well, since I'm not going to be part of that demonstration, I'll leave that to you and Bear.
No, but you can tell us how Megan used it to get to Harry.
She did. Apparently, at the palace, they'd say you could tell whether he'd had fellatio that morning or not by his mood at the palace.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Google it.
That's really sad.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie. If your entire day is fucked because you didn't get head, I can't imagine how you function as a person.
Exactly. You shouldn't complain if you don't get booty.
No, that's different. I'm talking about like you didn't get head this morning. You're an asshole. That does not work for society.
So hear me out on this.
All right, I'm listening.
Okay, because your
Not
preference is
actively.
not oral sex. You're not sitting there going, well, that would be a huge loss. If I turned around to you and you were really frustrated and I'm like, no, you stay like that. And let's say you didn't have the ability to frustrate me back.
Well, then I would just probably not want to be with you. I can't turn you on. You're not helping me.
That's the point. But what I mean is, your day.
That's where you just get a pocket pussy.
Pocket pussy.
I know what I'm buying him for Christmas.
Just ask them to say, can you sit still with your legs open for a minute? I need to take a mold real fast.
I did volunteer for one of those once. So you actually can buy mine. It's called a Victoria's Secret one.
Jesus Christ.
You're welcome.
I didn't ask for that.
I did it as a favor to a friend that owned a sex toy company. And I'm not going to say which one or where or anything like that, but my lady parts actually exist.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah,
in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm. So that's what you do for your partner. If you don't want to sleep with them, you buy them a vagina in a pack. Where do you buy those?
I wonder if Megan bought that for Harry.
Where do you purchase those?
Sex stores.
Can you get me one?
No, don't get her one.
Why?
Because I don't want that as a gift.
You don't know who it's for.
You're right. I don't. Am I correct?
I was like, and I never have to do it again.
You make it sound like you have such a bad time with me. Apparently, guys, I'm bad in bed. Let's move on.
I like all the stuff until the sex part.
Okay, how about that? You're our registered kink specialist here. How do I make the actual part of intercourse pleasurable for the partner?
Communication.
In what way?
Communicate what they do want to do and what they don't.
Or cervix alone.
Don't hit the cervix.
Now, let's say that's not physiologically possible.
Different angles.
Listen, we have a longer boat than expected for a tunnel that was too short to be prepared for. So I'm asking for some help. You're welcome for that.
Yeah. What do we do?
Now this has become a self-help clinic.
Yeah.
Go to a doctor.
I have. They said tell him not to put it all in.
We can, do we have extensions?
Just hold the base of it, and you don't have to put it all in.
I don't know where to go from that. I'm not gonna.
It was that moment he realized.
I figured at that moment, it's like at that moment, it was just, I don't want to go to a doctor anymore for any reason at all. We don't need to go see one. When we can be holistic healers now.
Yeah, that's because they're telling him not to put it all the way in.
No, it's almost entirely about that. But
It's almost entirely about that.
It's almost entirely about that.
So in Megan's case, there's obviously a strong sexual connection. And guys, so you know, everyone, good or bad, you'll have great times in bed, you'll have rough times in bed. You know, if you are having issues like that, do talk to your partner. As much as I'm teasing him, it really is a communication thing. Hence, we're sitting here talking about it. This is an ongoing thing we've actually had to deal with since the beginning of the relationship, which is out, not that angle.
Right. It is something you have to think about as a couple when you're in a relationship, how to communicate and what makes the other person happy and not. So which means Megan doesn't do any of that at all for Harry.
But that's it. But what she did was give him everything he wanted and then threaten withdrawal. And it's essentially a form of manipulation. It's, I'm going to take away everything you want if you don't give me what I want. Oh, I want a Tiffany blue purse.
What would be a healthy sexual dynamic for someone in Prince Harry's case? Like, who would have been how would a partner had to be better to act to not screw over his life?
Don't fuck with the royal family. Don't tell lies. Don't come out when your publicist tells you to shut the hell up. Just let the stories roll. Don't be so thin-skinned that you have to argue back constantly. Don't make everything about you, and don't be a narcissist/sociopath. I don't know if she's a sociopath. We do know she is a diagnosed narcissist.
And abusive.
Very abusive. She did isolate him from the family.
She went ahead and got diagnosed as a narcissist?
No, that's
I would
been
never
diagnosed.
have done that.
She was in therapy years ago.
Wow.
So that's come out. But she's even her now. Shout out to her ex-husbands, both of them. They've both been very polite, kept their opinions to themselves. They haven't talked about her. So all the men she's married seem to be well-adjusted, healthy, good men until they marry her.
I wonder, because they're both still pretty young. I can't just imagine their relationship really going into their later years. I don't think they're going to last by any means.
Once sex wears off, what do they have?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm surprised it hasn't.
He was also raised that very family oriented. He may be withdrawn from his family, but you also have to keep in mind that they have 2 children.
He also spent his whole life serving a queen. He's just now serving in one that's destroying his life. I'm
just thinking, as far as their relationship goes, I think it's run its course. God only knows where it's going to go from here. And she can no longer ladder climb, right? Everyone knows about her, and everyone's seen what she does.
She can. If she finds the right man, she can. Unfortunately, what will happen is she'll do what she did with Harry. I'm sure she turned around and went, "Poor me, protect me. I need you to save me." All she needs to do is give the same sob story she gave Harry to the next guy.
Yeah, that's what she's done with
each guy.
No, I'm kidding.
Very funny.
No, the only thing she would do is turn around and say that she was being abused and manipulated.
Oh, well, that's all she did do is she complained to complaints about the tabloids and the press and the media and how they're all attacking her. And
but the thing is, if she was smart, she'd keep herself out of the media. Now, I'm not going to knock someone for using their vagina to social climb. I'm 100% behind that. And if I could figure out how to do it, I would.
We know.
We know.
I just, don't like being touched, don't like people, and don't want to have sex.
Let's never fix that.
You like me being emotionally constipated because it means I won't
emotionally constipated is a great phrase. Put that on a t-shirt. I like what you do for me. I want you to never want to be with somebody else. But I think that's a fair thing. You would never want your partner to leave you to go to be with someone else. You never want them to have those thoughts.
I'd leave you for Prince William, but I love the Princess of Wales.
Why would you leave me for Prince William? Let's say he's available right now. He left his wife.
No, absolutely not. Because I'm on the Princess of Wales side. Shame on him.
Oh no, good. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to be with him. Fantastic.
How dare he leave the Princess of Wales?
You should write him a letter.
In this hypothetical, no, he's been a wonderful husband. I'm sorry. I'm very offended by this. But they were friends for years. Yeah. They built a relationship, a solid relationship. They actually split up for a time period. There was a year they weren't together. She didn't say a word about him in the press. Even the Queen, Her Majesty Camilla, after the scandals broke about her and King Charles, not a word in the press, not anything. And her and the Prince of Wales now King Charles had such a strong sexual connection. I mean, they were sleeping together since what, the 70s?
Something like that. It's been a long,
Well,
long
that
time.
was the reason why they weren't able to get married initially, right?
Because so he had to marry a woman that was a virgin and of noble birth. She was not of noble birth. Her grandparents were, so that was a gray area, but she wasn't a virgin because of Charles.
Because they already slept together.
And so the
I could have sworn she would already been married off.
She married after. No, she was married off because of that.
Got it.
And so she wasn't considered appropriate. And then he didn't want anyone but her, which is why he waited so long. And then he and Diana had dozens of affairs, and he had one. He was with Camilla. And so you can complain, you know, people could never understand because Diana was so much more beautiful. And she is and was. And in their minds, of course, will be forever young.
Yeah.
But they couldn't understand why. And it wasn't with them sexual connection. It was emotional connection. For whatever reason, she was, you know, Camilla, when you heard about her, everyone always says she's a laugh. She's funny and she's friendly. And apparently,
that's really cool.
The way she got King Charles was she walked over to him and said, you know, my grandmother, who Camilla Shand, was the mistress of your grandfather, King George. We should go somewhere privately and discuss how that works.
That's how she got King Charles.
That's how she got
hilarious.
King Charles.
That's funny.
That's a pretty good way to do it. Yeah,
she wasn't shy. She wasn't anything. She was fun and funny. And for somebody who was so reserved, and in a world that was so reserved, but it's the same reason that the Prince of Wales, Prince William, fell in love with Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She's from a stable, normal family. So is Camilla. They both were fun, free, very different from this constrained world.
Yeah.
And Camilla was always known as a good laugh. And that made the difference, where Diana, bless her, is the daughter of an earl. She came from one of the oldest families in England, and he dated her sisters before her because they always wanted him to marry one of those girls.
Yeah.
Because they came from the proper family and they were just as constrained as him. So their wedding night, he's expected to seduce her. He's a prince that's had women seducing him his whole life, and he only wants Camilla.
So he has zero care to do this.
Zero care for any of it. The whole thing, but he did what he was supposed to. I was very pleased, actually, when he married Queen Camilla. I thought it was, you know, nice that they actually got their chance.
Well, speaking of nice and being pleased, Lex, as always, it's been wonderful to have you here on the show. Please tell everyone where they can find you. What's all your social media?
We will get there in one sec. Follow her on Kink4Dummies.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so used to a time.
We do have to get off in a minute. But he didn't use sex. She did use sex. So I think the question is, when you look at emotional connections between Camilla and Charles and Catherine and William, and then you look at the sexual connection based on Mummy of Meghan and Harry, you can see the difference. Alexis, would you do me a favor?
Yes.
I would like you, for the next time you're on, I want you to collect all of the data on how to use sex to emotionally manipulate someone. And we are going to talk about Harry and Meghan.
Okay. We'll do it then.
But I want to know, it's been used for centuries. It's been used throughout the world. Is there a kink where people want to be emotionally manipulated by sex? Is it possible that Harry has that?
Interesting.
Oedipus complex.
A specific to where you understand the manipulation is happening.
There's the ones where they want to see you spend their money. I keep trying to get Lex to introduce me to men like that.
I mean,
have you met Bear?
Oh, he spends his money on me all the time. I need others.
You need others?
Now, we were talking about, we're talking about the prince.
I get that I haven't bought you your Strathmore tiara yet, but no amount of money is going to get it for you.
The point is, what do you think? If there is a kink where people like to be used, what did you call them? Pay people? Pay
pigs.
Ew.
I remember from the last time. I remember your teachings are well received.
So you wouldn't count as that. You just buy it. You don't like.
No, it's not. It's not someone who like isn't that someone who like pays for things for the woman but gets like nothing in return or some kind of. I don't remember how exactly it works.
So it's our relationship with him, period.
Do you get off on that?
No, I don't. It's very frustrating, actually. And I'm not one of the guys who are like, I bought you a purse, now blow me. It's like, I do all these
Yeah,
things,
you're
the
the-
expectation that sex continues. I don't care about the 3 or 4 days where you say you can't. Like you
Yeah,
put a
he's
towel,
good. His whole
you
thing
put a
is put a
towel
towel
down, you can take a painkiller. I don't see the point in not doing it. Maybe that makes me insensitive.
No, it makes you insensitive is not figuring out a way to do it where it doesn't hit the cervix.
Thank you.
Listen, long boat, small tunnel. I don't know what you want from me at this point.
So essentially, is there a category where people enjoy being sexually manipulated or emotionally
I'm
manipulated?
sure there is. There's a different type of kink for anything you can think of. There's a kink for it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist just because, you or I don't know the name of it. It could be there. Like, down to there is a kink for specific textures or whatever. There's a kink for anything. It's just a sexual desire for something.
Your homework is to go find Prince Harry and steal him from Meghan Markle. That is what we are going to.
Let me hop right on that.
Excellent.
Yes, that's how she did it.
Yes, that's how she did it. Make sure you are following Kink4Dummies at Lex.
Kink, the number 4, dummies everywhere. And soon to be on OnlyFans.
Make sure to follow us on TuneIn BTS. We have got to push to get Bear's social media back. So please give us a hand there. We will see you next week where I'm getting my face burned off live on camera, 18 and over. Also, less about sex, more about blood and pain. See you next week. Good night.
Bye.
This has been Behind the Scenes with Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk4 Media.